So I did not get early access to Bloomburrow, but I told myself that I wasn't going to let that stop me, and I was going to grovel to Nerd Girl until she let me use her account for a couple hours on early access day. And that's what we're doing. This is a Temur Prowess deck built by Yeoman5. Yeoman5 is a content creator who posts 50 plus deck lists every single set release over on Twitter, so definitely go check them out. But this is a powerhouse of a deck. It's built around, all-stars that we know like Slickshot Show-Off, and Monstrous Rage, and Monastery Swiftspear, which is the core of the Pioneer Prowess deck. We refuel with cards like Questing Druid, and we got some new toys. Obviously, with the new Foundation set coming in, Shock is a legal Magic card again, and Elusive Otter as a 4-of, letting you put as many counters on creatures as you control. So you have Flood Insurance. You can use your extra mana, and you can also attack. Get it in, make it so your opponents can't block you. You pump it to the moon with prowess triggers, and then they can't block you. So anyway, mana base a little tiny bit sketchy, but we can do 3-color mana bases for an aggro deck in Standard now because we have access to the on-color fast lands. So let's hop into a few games on the Standard ladder and see how it goes. Oh, it's TheOneJame. TheOneJame and I had a short-lived podcast with another gentleman named Michael Kritz. That hasn't happened for a while, but James and I are good friends. He doesn't know it's me. He thinks it's Nerd Girl, so he'll probably be a little more intimidated than usual. We have a Show-Off, we have a Swiftspear, and we have a removal spell. Happy to keep this. James is playing Rakdos, which is no surprise. So we can play the Monastery Swiftspear into what is possibly a cut down, or we can start by just sleight of handing and preparing a little bit. I think if he has a cut down, I want it out of his hand before I commit the Show-Off to the board. Yeah. Well, yeah, one spell next turn isn't going to be enough to play around the cut down if he has it. And he doesn't. Okay. Send him to 19. Plaza of Heroes is here. Push. Okay. So that is a sorcery speed removal spell. If his deck is built around sorcery speed removal, it's going to be very sad when we show him Slickshot Show-Off. Which I think... Well... Yeah, I think we're just going to plot this. And if he holds up removal, then we can talk about not casting this. He's stuck on 2 mana. Yeah, okay. There's also a good chance that the instant speed removal he has in hand is cut down. If we put Show-Off into play and then play Sleight of Hand, then we'll be able to pump it through Prowess out of range of the cut down. So let's do that. Let's play our land first. Start with Show-Off. And play the sorcery speed sleight of hand first in case he has cut down. Doesn't look like it. Both of these lands will come in tapped. Guess I should not have played my land pre-combat. Guess we want the Spirebluff Canal more than we want anything else. And we can either put a +1/+1 counter on the Show-Off or play the Otter and Shock. I think I like Otter and Shock. It just puts him under a ton of pressure. And if he's stuck on mana, then he needs to have basically a 3-mana board wipe here. Raucous Theater pitching a Hostile Negotiator. Alright, I mean, 2 removal spells isn't great. But we'll get in. And I guess we'll play the tap land. There's a world where we can maybe next turn attack with both and kill our Otter with these Frenzies to pump the Show-Off, because that'll pump the Show-Off by 2 for each spell. Alright, never mind. Carnosaur gets put into play, and we find another Otter off the top. I think I'm more than happy to just do this x = 3 and then play the second Otter. Yeah, we can tap like that, that's fine. Alright. Lethal on board. I don't think it's going to stay that way. Hello? And if I Frenzy, the Prowess trigger is not good enough. It doesn't matter. He's at 5. We're at 5, and he's dead. Good game. That was, I'm not going to lie, not as impressive as I expected it to be. Kind of not a lot of card selection there. We got stuck with 2 removal spells in hand that didn't matter, and our creatures were tiny. But yeah, still won. On to the next one. We're up against Kuro. Kuro, also a wonderful individual. We have no... That's not true. I was going to say we have no turn 1 creature, but we do. We have this 1/1 Otter, which is going to have to do a lot of work. But otherwise, our mana is good. I'm happy with this. Thundering Falls, huh? Put something in the bin so I know what you're doing. Great. Otter Ball Antics. Create a 1/1 Otter with Prowess. We have those. This spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand. Put a counter. Okay, whatever. So buttons. So we have a few options, right? We can either foretell the show off, or we can sleight of hand plus monstrous rage, get in a ton of damage that way, and then follow it up with show off and shock next turn. Actually, we can't do that because we're bottlenecked on red. So I think that means I just want to get in for 1, and I'll foretell the show off here. I'm just going to have to do an awful lot of work. That might be a video title. The video title was going to be, Do You Really Think We Otter? But doing an awful lot of work is very good. Alright, so we have 2 open mana from our opponent here. We don't have to commit the show off if we don't want to. We can just play sleight of hand, attack, shock, and then hold up monstrous rage or something. It feels so likely if we play the show off that it's dead, is the problem. All right, let's start here. I haven't learned my lesson. We're going to play our land before we cast Sleight of Hand. And now he's in this kind of uncomfortable spot, right? Because he wants to kill this before it gets too big. His removal's probably damage-based, but he doesn't want to cast his removal spell because then I'll play show off and then go way off. I think Swiftspear is actually excellent here. Yeah. Well, that's funny, actually, because we don't have the... Again, we're bottlenecked on red. So if I take the Swiftspear, I can't play it and have Monstrous Rage up this turn. So... But Spiral of Canal will come in tapped anyway next turn. I guess it is Swiftspear. Let's get in. I think the line here is just going to be hold up a pump spell. Yeah, exactly. This works, right? This has Prowess? Yeah. Hold up a pump spell is what I was going to say, and if we don't... if he doesn't commit, then we'll just cast the Adventure side of Questing Druid on his end step. But instead we get a nice Dome for 6. Alright. Sure. So now he's tapped out. Now we're going to have a Slick Shot turn for the ages, I would think. Well... So we cast Swiftspear, and we can either shock, like play the creature side of Questing Druid and shock, or we can try to get lucky and hit an untapped red off of this Questing Druid. And if we miss, then the cards that we hit won't be doing very much. That's tough. Can also just like play show off. Yeah, shock the 1/1 I think is where it's at. Let's do that. I should have done this in the other order, though. Missed a counter on the questing druid. Hopefully that doesn't matter. Thundering Falls and then hover over my stuff. So probably some sort of removal spell on top he's wondering if he can effectively use to kill my stuff and stay alive. We're going to have another interesting decision to make next turn. Jace Reawakened. I have never actually seen this card cast. And it looks like for a good reason. What are we plotting? Coruscation Mage. Okay, cool. We did draw untapped red. Yeah. Is there a stick? There's no stick. This is how much damage? It'll be 4, 7, 9. It's not quite lethal. I guess if we tap like this, and we hit a cantrip, then it's lethal. And that does it. So we can cast this, x equals 0. And we'll attack upstairs. Cool. 2-0. Oh, it's Jim. Yesterday I had a coaching session with Jim, and it's uploaded over on his channel. I think it is one of the best pieces of content that I've ever made, and I didn't even have to do very much work. Definitely go check that out. Jim is fantastic. What do we have? We are on the play again. We have an Otter. We have a cantrip. Refuel. We don't have any green mana yet, but I think we have to keep this. Jim's going to be playing something cool. Valley Mightcaller. Frogs. That is a Jim Davis card for sure. Now, how do we do this? If we attack, I don't think he's going to block. Let's see what he does. Yeah, no blocks. And the only question now really is, are we going to try to draw a card off Might of the Meek, or are we going to try to Questing Druid on his end step? Or we could plot Show Off, because he didn't block. Honestly, I think I like that the most. Tap land. Love that. Alright, what does this do? Beginning of your upkeep, return another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it, otherwise you may bounce it. Alright, so it's like a Frogfall kind of deck. We did not hit our land, but we can try. Yeah, we're definitely playing the show off here. The question is, am I going to try to cantrip off Might of the Meek, or am I going to Questing Druid in the hopes that I hit land? If I play Might of the Meek, then I don't actually gain much anyway. This will be Prowess, it'll be a 2/2. It'll have 3 power, so we can't make the Otter survive, unfortunately, if we attack and he blocks. So, since he can't block, I think I'm just going to cast the Questing Druid now. Or cast the land searching side of things now, and miss. That sucks. Frogs. When Clifftop Lookout enters, find a land. Must be nice. This has reach. We don't have lands. Now, if we attack and they block here, if they double block here, I can shock. And then these will trade, which stinks. Yeah. I'm just going to do this. We're going to go hyper aggressive here. And he's playing like a creature deck that wants his stuff on the board. If he has to keep bouncing his own things, then he's not going to be able to do much to stop us. And we also have 3 Prowessers in play. I think if we're on the draw, this is a totally different story. But the fact that we were able to get this Prowess creature into play on turn 1 mattered a lot. What are you? Stun my show off. That sucks. Okay. Found the land, but it is not red. Like, just prepare for the next turn. Yeah, he gets to keep replaying this over and over again and stunning the show off to oblivion. Inga and Sika. That is a card I played against in Commander of all things for the first time yesterday. Alright, so they're tapping down the Druid. That's fine, I guess. It's not really fine, but nothing I can do about it. Yikes. Okay, so if I hit untapped red, then I can play Might of the Meek, go into combat, and have Monstrous Rage. Otherwise, I can swing in, and if he blocks, then Monstrous Rage makes the Otter trade with whatever he blocks with. Otherwise, I can Might of the Meek and try to hit my land. Sure. Cool. And am I going to play out this Questing Druid or not? He's stunning all of my stuff, which makes me want to play it out. However, yeah, I think I need to tax his ability to tap me out. I was also thinking, well, I can cast the Seek the Beast side and find a creature next turn, like a hasty creature, which he can't tap down using this crap, but just forcing him to do it here. The Slick Shot threatens to untap soon. Eventually we'll find land. It's just amazing to me that we haven't been run out of the building yet. And actually, we killed his tapper, so maybe things are looking okay. That is not quite the land I was looking for. Yikes. And it's still not a red source. Alright. I hate it. There's something big coming. He is at 10, and Slickshot is a house. This doesn't buff its toughness, though, so if he has a fight spell, we're kind of just screwed. Stop it! Stop it! Oh. He has another, I guess? Oh, okay, that's suspicious. So he's basically saying, kill me or I kill you. And this has reach. Alright, well, I think our hand is forced at this point. That is a second red source. Alright, well, then let's try to keep this party going. See if we can find a way to remove this Reacher. Yeah, nope. Is there a way we can live? Block, block, we take 3, 6, 7. If I attack any blocks, then the trade is probably good for us. I think we actually have to attack because he'll be able to bounce this thing again and tap my stuff down. So we need this trade to happen. What's the card behind my head? It is Storm Chaser's Talent. And I'm moving my head in front of the bigger version of the card, yeah. It's basically a 1/1 Otter with upside and prowess. If we ever get to the point where we're leveling this up, I think we are sad. But this has just been a really awkward game in terms of mana. Ah, yeah, this is too much, right? Take 4, 8, 13, yeah. Alright, well, he stumbled on mana early with the tap land. We stumbled even harder and never drew out of it. So that's a kind of a crappy way to end the league, but that's fine. I think the deck showed its weaknesses there. I think maybe it needs more hand selection, but that just might not be available to it. Anyway, that's it, YouTube, for this one. I'm going to make one more that should be on the channel before release. Let's move on to the next one.